and welcome to Shadow-Caste.
Hi, guys.
I hope you guys are doing fine today.
What do we got today? I think you got a video you want to
yeah,
check out.
yeah, I do. This is just one of my, you know what, like, I just come across these. I love off-grid. I watch a ton of off-grid videos because I think it's a really important element to really regaining control of our lives and of regaining control of living in harmony with the planet and everything that's really needed. I think lies in generating your own power, or at least regionally.
Self-sufficiency, autonomy.
Yeah, right. Self-sufficiency, autonomy. Reducing your expenses and stopping this kind of incessant idea that so many of us have that we've got to have a new iPhone and we've got to have the new car and we've got to have new fucking clothes all the time. Like we're as more and more people wake up from that nightmare, we see the off-grid movement growing, right? And so I watch a lot of off-grid movies and documentaries and these channels of vloggers. And this group today is called the Nomadic movement. And to me, I think they've crossed the line, right? There's an ethics line.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Man, I just think that, it's
a big claim.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, just seem to have this idea that they can just run around pretending to be environmentalists and pretending to be ethical businesses and
virtue signaling. Right,
and that the truth of the matter is that they're really quite the opposite of that, and I think that well, you tell me.
Okay.
We'll see what you think at the end of this.
Okay.
Or hopefully everybody watching that there. So
we are leaving Panama, and we're going to try and answer a question, because I think we've been lied to for years. For decades. It's been eating away at me since 2019. And I feel like today,
that long,
we're finally going to get some closure on this. Ladies and gentlemen,
hey,
Arturo Venegas.
Mambo number 5.
Yeah. All the way since 2019, everybody.
That's like when the millennials say, I've been in a long-term relationship. How long? 6 months.
He is Jesus on the cross. So he's wound this up.
So this is like an American couple, and they're moving to Panama.
Yeah, they've moved to Panama. They have an off-grid life that they're building. It's not the first time I've had an issue with them,
but you keep watching.
Well, I try to support channels of people who are doing, and also I definitely keep my eye on these guys because I think that they sort of regularly cross a ethics line that, well, maybe not regularly, but they do. And this is just this one to me.
But they look like such nice people.
Yeah, so you hear the wind up, right? We've been lied to. That.
Right.
We're gonna get. To
I'm
the
expecting
bottom of
something big.
shit.
Okay, so this is one of my pet peeves, like either the big title, big sensational title, and then they don't deliver on their promise.
Yeah, well, I think rightfully the people who are getting lied to are the audience of Nomadic movement.
Oh,
right. That's who's really getting lied to here. So well, you tell me. Maybe I'm just too hard on the kids.
Okay.
And let's click
Hold on.
ahead. Yeah.
I'm someone that, if I ever had the choice between conventional or organic food, 10 out of 10 times, I went with organic. That includes everything that I
10 out of 10,
and that
everybody.
also includes coffee.
And coffee.
Moving to Panama, since starting a coffee business, seeing over hundreds of coffee farms across multiple different countries, all through Central America and South America, at this point I can tell you, I've never seen one USDA certified organic coffee farm. I've never even heard anyone talk about it. I've never seen one that exists.
What the fuck, dude?
When I was talking to other coffee farmers, and everything that I've heard has just made me more and more skeptical.
Yeah. Dope.
Okay, so he's in Panama, and he hasn't seen one USDA certified organic farm. I wonder why that is.
I wonder why. So yeah, so here maybe people watching us at home don't know this, but Jan and I are both living in Ecuador. And it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And
some of us have been here a while. I'm on my 15th year.
yeah,
Yep.
no shit.
Yep.
God, I'm 8 years.
Oh.
Cheers. Congrats, 15 years. Wow.
Well,
And definitely
we
no
can go
plans to
into a
back.
whole episode on this, but I just want to let people know that there are other options to living under extreme amounts of debt and extreme amounts of financial pressure and time pressure and all that sort of thing. I mean, yeah, I'm retired. I still do a lot of fun things, but even if you're working down here like digital nomad or whatever,
Yeah, that's what I am.
it's reasonable. I pay $400 a month for my apartment, and I have a maid that comes with it. So if that sounds like we live in another world, we kind of do.
Yeah. That's great. It's a great cheese. So
Okay, so
I'm
back,
sure we're going
back,
to do a whole segment.
back to these nice looking young people with the beautiful blue eyes. What fault are you finding with them, Paul?
Okay, well, let's just address the low-hanging fruit. Right.
Ignorance?
I mean, it's hard to even imagine that somebody could be so fucking stupid. I mean, like, why would any
You didn't see the
coffee
debates?
farm in any country in Central or South America have a fucking U.S.
DA,
Department of Agriculture
right?
organic approval
Right.
stamp?
Right.
Because they don't give a why would anybody do that?
Well, maybe he thinks that in order to get it exported, you have to have that. I don't know, but no,
So,
those
yeah.
guys are not going to be coming down
Jesus.
here to inspect
No,
organic
because
farms.
it might be surprising to some people, but other countries have their own organic standards
And their own agriculture departments. Go figure. The U.S. doesn't do everything for the world.
Oh, that's just all right. But so let's just imagine.
It might just be a millennial thing.
Could he be that dumb? Maybe, and if he is, I think his name is Jordan.
Why would you fake it?
To cover yourself up for the fraud that you're committing.
Ooh, that's a big word.
Yeah, well, tell me. Maybe it's just my opinion, but I happen to know quite a bit about the topic, so I'm eager to get your take on this, right?
Okay.
Because I think
I will give you my honest opinion.
so.
But they seem like nice young people.
Yeah. I think it's Kylie, the woman. I think she's the one.
She's the mastermind behind it all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shouldn't be surprising to anybody that a millennial relationship is controlled by the woman. Are there any millennial relationships not controlled by the woman? That'd be
Or
interesting.
any relationships at all.
Right. So I think good to make a note of her. She's always in the back there, except on the thumbnail where somehow she's always got herself front and center with some little not as sexualized a pose as you might find on a lot of
All
channels.
right,
But
okay.
Lordy, give me a break. With
Okay, let's get to your beef.
tits. So all right, let's carry on.
You can get organic coffee in the United States nearly anywhere. Every grocery store, you can get the checkout aisle at the pharmacy. Heck, you could even get it at Home Depot. So the question is, why is there so much organic coffee in the United States? But here where it's grown, why does it not exist? That's what we're on the mission to find today. And we're going to the perfect place. We're hopping on a plane right now, and we're going to Costa Rica.
Why does it not exist?
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Was
know.
he talking about why doesn't
USDA?
the USDA part?
I mean,
Organic
how dumb.
coffee does exist in South America.
Yeah. So organic coffee, maybe, I don't know, he's searching for it in English. I mean, what can you say? Because it just seems to me like one of the most Americanized, philosophies, right? That if you haven't seen a USDA stamped organic,
We're all looking for
coffee
that
farm,
certification stamp of some sort.
So here in Ecuador,
Every part of our lives.
and like Peru and Colombia and Bolivia and Costa Rica. I mean, pick a country in Central and South America, and coffee is a huge part of their economy.
Right.
And do you think that there's no organic certification in those countries for their farms? I mean, what are you?
So
out of
here's
your
something you
mind?
know more about than I do about the certification of organic stuff down here, because I do know there's a lot of organic stuff, but I think mostly the people are growing it the way they've always grown it, and they are not going to pay extra for pesticides, and they're not going to pay extra for Monsanto seeds and things like that. Part of it's economics because people are super poor. However, I do think if their coffee crop got attacked by bugs, and I have heard that there are some farms that do spray. I know when you go to the market here, the open air market and stuff, if you ask the person if it's organic, they always say yes, because they've had enough experience that the person walks away if they say no and buys it from the next lady who lies and says.
Who's willing to lie to them?
Yeah.
That's the common theme today.
So it's hard to tell if it isn't certified. I kind of get that, but I don't know of any certification facility department process down here. Do you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a whole, and it's pretty strict because they're testing every year, and unlike, I mean, if you wanted to,
But do they have a stamp?
yes, but it doesn't say USDA anywhere on it. It just says Ecuador or Costa Rica or
Organico.
yeah. Doesn't say fucking the United States on it. Why the fuck would it say the United States, you ding dong?
Right, but honestly, I haven't bought anything with any stamp that says organic here.
Yeah, I think I think that you definitely have if you shop at Supermaxi or one of these places, If it says organic, then it says organic. It's organic.
Okay, I'm going to check this out
Yeah.
because
And so anyway, from the view of I buy tomato, I buy a lot of organic food because I work regularly with a bunch of organic certified farmers, and it's hard for them,
so the farm itself gets organically certified, and they can advertise that way.
and then they sell for a premium, and that premium comes at a yearly test of their soil in multiple locations without there being the forethought of where they are getting certified. And because that certification then runs, it's one of the places where those soil samples go back to a lab and are tested by someone else, and so there's a double check on it because they know that exporting that to the United States, they also get samples where they get checked to see if they're organic or if there's residue, and so there's sort of a triple check filter as that coffee in this case crosses the border. It's often checked in multiple areas.
So that organic market that you go to, I don't go to because I'm single and I just buy a little bit of stuff, and I don't like getting up early and going someplace once a week kind of a thing. It's kind of a hassle. But if I went to that organic market that you go to, could I tell by that? Is there any sign or anything at that stall that tells me that that's organic?
Yeah, because they're part of a cooperative that's organic, and so they have their own internal. They've got T-shirts, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. But obviously, like anything, which is,
It's not like
long-term-
oranges in the United States with a little sticker on each one.
No, right. and but I think for another episode of this, I think there's a great argument to say that there's a decentralized solution to organic that is a better thing than relying on third-party systems.
And the other message is know your farmer. Like we do have a guy that I order from for delivery, and this guy spent the way I've heard it, $1 million doing a biodynamic farm, and bringing in all the right microbes and getting the right soil, and spent all this time, and so he
$1
invested
million
a lot.
in Ecuador, man.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he does organic fruits and vegetables, and he also does organic beef and pork and
I'm sure he's certified.
eggs and all that. So I, you know what? I'll check.
But
into
you know
that.
what? It's a great point that you're making because I think it bears on what we're watching here, which is people that are out there that have farms that are organic. Man, they are working their asses off, and they're not taking the easy path, right? They are out there every morning. They're checking for bugs. They are doing
it's harder,
twice,
so
three
much
times
harder.
the work that you wouldn't really find here in Ecuador. You don't find, there doesn't exist agribusiness. Nope. But for you guys, it's not monocropped for hundreds of acres and delivered to you.
However, a lot of farmers here do raise coffee every year or bananas every year or whatever. And so, yeah, it does. And it,
in little batches.
Because it's a 12-month growing season here, it does wear out the soil more quickly. I have a biodynamic expert friend who told me that you really have to put much
we should have her on.
much
There.
more
Sounds
nutrients
so
into the soil.
Super. Find out about that. Yep. So just all I would ask anybody watching this right now is to think organic farms in South America work their asses off, and they don't make, from your view, from our retail view, we're buying organic coffee. It's twice as much money a pound as non-organic, and we're like, I'm gonna, like Jordan just up there or whatever, 10 out of 10 times I'm gonna buy organic food, and so
everybody's 100% everything these days. I'm tired of that 100% thing.
So you're willing to spend the extra money for it.
But organic food in the U.S. is so much more expensive. And down here, for instance, the only thing I can think of off the top of my head is organic eggs. So a non-organic egg might cost you 20 or 25 cents an egg. And
Much less.
I'm sorry, the one that's not organic, 20 or 25 cents an egg and 30 cents an egg for organic.
Yeah, and I think that's a great example of
A nickel.
And that's the relationship here with organic, is the people who are doing organic down here, they're not doing it because they're making twice the amount of money as the spraying coffee farm. They're making 10%, 20% more for their beans, and they're doing it because they believe in it. They're doing it because they're real people doing what they think they need to do in order to protect the earth.
And I'll bet they've only recently realized they can charge a little more for organic. And if I had to guess what percentage of the food in Ecuador is organic versus non-organic, I would think it's like 85%, 90% organic versus anything that's been sprayed. And I think they only spray if they have to.
Yeah, like if you were buying at the Mercado or whatever. Yeah, right. I think that I agree. So let's carry on with their conspiracy and see where we get.
We've connected with these guys in Costa Rica from a farm called Buena Vida. And if organic coffee exists, however it exists, the truth about organic coffee, these guys know about it. So we're here to talk to them about it. Look at all this coffee. Every single plant that you see here is growing coffee. This is what we're here for, baby. We are going to be meeting some incredibly interesting people today that are trying to change the coffee industry forever. Why don't you start by just telling us what your name is and what the name of your business is and what you guys do?
Okay. So my name is Gally Mayer. I'm co-owner of Buena Vida Specialty Coffee. I live in Costa Rica for the last 14 years.
Okay,
and
looking like a infomercial.
Costa Rica is perfect, right?
Specialty coffee. That's what it has to say.
Yeah, organic specialty coffee. So, okay, so the thing that I can only conclude from that little clip right so far is that these guys now have raised the topic of whether or not there actually is organic coffee in Central and South America. They're not sure it exists. They don't know if there really is organic coffee. Is there such a thing as organic coffee?
So he thinks everything's been sprayed, and for how long? For decades and decades and decades?
I don't know. Look.
In the most remote villages?
This is what I'm saying is,
you know what?
Nobody is that dumb. And And like,
So you think
what
it's
did
intentional?
You just like
I
fell
think
off of a fucking, like you've been isolated. You've been like grown in an Amish community your whole life. You don't have any exposure to television. Like you have no fucking frame of reference for the world. And like, you're so dumb that you think that the real question is whether there's organic coffee in Central and South America, the largest fucking export by volume than anything else. And they don't know that there's more money to be made in organic, and nobody's ever fucking started the certification process in their country. Like, Jesus.
I don't know. I'm going to take the high road. I think they're just ignorant. I don't think they're intentionally fraudulent.
Yeah. Well,
Because so you're saying they're selling their own organic coffee to their subscribers or to the U.S.
Well, I don't want to, I don't want to be a spoiler alert. But like, listen to what this next lady has to say. Now, she owns well, you can't really, what they say later is it's not organic. And then they think that air quoting not organic is a legitimate way of communicating the fact that they are flouting organic farms, basically, because she's not an organic farm. And she's about to tell you why you should think that she is an organic farm, even though she isn't. Let's watch. Let's listen to this kook.
Costa Rica is perfect, right? Green. I'm going to go find some organic certified coffee. And to my dismay, I found out that only 1.5% of all agriculture in Costa Rica is organic certified. To my dismay, I found out that 80% of coffee farmers worldwide live on the poverty line or below. Found out the fair trade might not be fair after all, and then start looking into the certifications and seeing that it benefits everyone almost but the farmers.
Yeah, so as you can see, like I like what she had to say, actually. I don't know.
But to say only 1.5% is organic certified, it makes it sound like it kind of led you to think that only 1.5% of coffee in South America or in Costa Rica, she was talking about, is organic.
I get that what she's saying, that the fair trade isn't really so fair, and I've seen that firsthand. And I spend time hanging out with coffee farmers and chocolate farmers, and I'm totally aware of their plight, right? Which is
chocolate grows on trees? Cacao, you mean?
And they are completely exploited by the exporters. The exporters control the market, and they make all the money. And these farmers that are actually growing the beans are subsistence level. And even at fair trade certification, I mean, yeah, they're making more than the guy who sells their stuff to.
It's always the case, the middleman, right?
Yeah, but they're still not making anything comparatively. But that's even drives the point home even more, which is these farmers are getting squeezed. These South American farmers, they're exploited at every turn, and some of them still persist to go through the organic certification process that anyone and any farm can go to, right? Anybody can get certification if they follow the guidelines. There's no politics involved. It's just whether or not you've got an organic farm. There's nothing more to it. And I mean, I suppose.
And you pass the test and you pay the money. Yeah,
and you pass the test and you pay the money. And like people do all the time, small farms. And then, and imagine these people are already struggling. And they're getting exploited, and still they save the money to get the organic certification. That's important. And I hope that everybody really pays attention to that fact, because I think that hinges the actions that these guys take and what you see them do next is a slap in the face to that, in not only in Ecuador but in every country in Central and South America, because they basically just are about to say, oh, it doesn't matter at all. Watch what happens next.
Gally brought us to her good friend Arturo's coffee farm, and she wanted to show us how Arturo used to grow organic coffee. He grew organic coffee for decades, but how just about 9 years ago he was tricked. The local agricultural authority showed up and told him he better spray all of his coffee immediately with these certain chemicals, or he was going to lose his whole year of harvest.
Is that there's a lot of a fear factor. They come and they say, La Roya's coming, is going to eat all your farm. You got to spray all this. So, of course, you're going to spray because you're not going to lose all your income, right?
It probably has somewhat of in with the chemical companies.
Somewhat? Are you kidding me? You get free samples, you get financing, and you get complete technical assistance. Somehow? All how?
And then they're hooked, right? Because they have to keep buying the chemicals.
It's a
they have to
drug.
keep spraying
It's a
more
drug.
and
It's like
more
you're
and more.
addicted to cocaine, except it's herbicides and pesticides.
I don't think you have to be the world's greatest detective to look at these people and think they're telling you what you want to hear. And so currently the story is they were organic and then they got tricked by unscrupulous government agents who were apparently secretly doing the bidding for Monsanto or whoever sells the pesticides, and then they convinced them to spray their farm, and then they ruined it for themselves for the organic market. And I don't know. Look at
That's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, they go around and do that with Monsanto seeds.
Yeah, sure. I'm willing to. I'll go along, right? And I think to myself, "Oh, I'm sorry, you were such a dumbass," and you really fucked yourself up, thinking that
For a plague that was coming, that wasn't even existing on the...
So lesson learned, but guess what? If it's been 10 years, you've only got to wait 3 years. And well, I don't know about Costa Rica, but Ecuador, it takes at least 3 years to get certification on a farm that used to have pesticides. So I think 10 years is enough to have been an organic farm again for at least 6
But you
of
may
those
have a
years.
point that they're trying to highlight people who switched to spraying to try to make this look like a bigger thing than it is.
Well, I think what's really going on is Jordan and Kaylee are not interested in paying the prices of organic in Central America because they think that they can buy coffee from a farm like this that's not organic and still sell it at organic coffee prices to the people that they've managed to fool with this video into thinking that it's not organic. It's not organic. It's got quotation marks. It's not organic if it's got quotation marks.
I don't get why they would call it not
The
organic.
fuck, man. So yeah, well, look, my view, like from a legal perspective. Well, let's get into that later. But these guys have a big story. So now their whole reputation in business, their 500,000 followers, right? Surely Jordan and Kaylee, they're about to pull out a lab kit, take some soil samples, run them back to San Jose, and check to see if the soil is organic and pesticide free. Because if you really were ethical and you were about to sell coffee to thousands of people over the internet, I think what you would do is just that. You'd get samples. You'd take them randomly from places that you didn't ask permission to get them. You'd run them to San Jose. You'd pay a couple $100. You would get the soil sample results in 3 days. And you would say, bam, nothing here. I get that you're not organic, but the soil samples say organic. Here's the results for the world to see. Let's just watch one more clip of them in the farm area talking their shit, and then we can just go clip to the end, and we'll be out of here.
Okay.
Using permaculture practices and taking things even a step further than organic, but without all the bureaucracy that hurt him along the way.
After visiting so many coffee farms in the last 5 years or so, one thing that we know for sure is when you see other plants here other than coffee, when you see banana trees, when you see flowers, when you see other fruit trees around, that's when you know the health of the coffee farm is really, really good.
Some people might be watching this now and thinking,
All right, so then now here they come. Get ready for packaging. For somehow, now this is where they should talk to their American lawyer. You tell me. Here, let's just watch it, and then let's see if we can.
Well,
count
okay.
some
So in the
felonies.
comments below,
Oh,
let's
nice.
ask a simple yes or no question.
Yeah, but add detail if you want.
How would you phrase? What do you want to know? Do you think these people are being intentionally fraudulent?
Usually when we come back to this building, it's like a time for celebration. And this time we feel that, but it's just like a little bit of a letdown. It was our goal to come back here and officially launch our first USDA certified organic coffee. So many of you guys have been asking us for this, and we went on this trip doing everything that we could to get our hands on it. And we couldn't find it. But at the same time, I felt like we met so many people that we want to support and that are actually doing the right thing. Like, they're actually growing organic coffee for the reasons why you want to buy organic coffee, but they just don't have the certification. They can't get the certification just because of bureaucracy. And at the end of the day, we looked at each other and we were just like,
Hey, listen, this coffee's grown organically. Let's just buy it anyway. And let's support these guys anyway that we built this relationship with. But here's kind of the catch of this whole thing. We can't say the word organic or we'll get fined. Definitely not organic. Just so we're covered. We have the trust of our best friends in this business, and we carry that with a bunch of responsibility. And the last thing that we want to do is put the word organic on a bag and get in trouble. So this coffee, it's definitely not organic, I promise. Even though
What's that quote? Quotes there?
Air quotes.
So we put the
Oh, it
farmers
is? Kaylee,
right on
use
the
that?
bag. We have definitely not organic, and we have beyond organic. Definitely not organic is a tribute to Arturo, who's growing coffee organically in the mountains of Costa Rica with so much passion.
What the hell was the
and
honey
love.
process?
And beyond organic is a tribute to the other Arturo, who's growing coffee with a regenified process, which is about regenerating the soil and not going the path of the USDA organic, but trying to create
You're a real hero.
fa-
Nice. Well, now. So,
Okay.
what about that last bit? Now, I mean, what I saw was like Kaylee's back there air quoting it. And then she says, but it is. It is organic. She says it. He says it. Right?
Yeah.
And like somehow they think, you know, I don't know. What's your thought? Right? What's your
No, I
impression?
mean, you know how I started out on this. I was
Yeah.
pretty skeptical, and I didn't think they had bad intentions or anything, and whatever. But yeah, a simple test would be able to prove whether it was or not, and they have chosen not to do the tests. But they are so sure, and they're saying off the record to their viewers and their customers that it is absolutely organic, and they want to support these good people who are doing the right organic processes.
So
And the only reason they're
So
not
lame,
saying
man.
it's
So
organic,
lame.
if they could get away with saying it was organic on the label, they would, I do believe.
of course, yeah, but they know.
So,
They admit.
Yeah.
They have
They'll get
what they
fined.
call, right, malice aforethought. They know that they can't say organic because it's not certified organic. And then they think that they're going to flout that by putting definitely not organic on the label. But I think that they don't fundamentally understand the law, right? Because
Right.
the reason that there's a law about saying organic on the bag or not on the bag is because typically when you're buying a brand at a grocery store, right, your only experience of the brand is right there. It's what it says on the tin, as they say. So when you have a YouTube channel and you sell your coffee through your YouTube channel, then your deceptive practices, which is what it would be if you sold only on your bag and you said organic, now extend to everything that you say about the product on the video. And maybe we can get a couple lawyers to chime in here.
Recorded for all time, you know.
But like you're bigger than the bag now. Now you also are accountable for what you say on your channel. So when you're recording yourself,
Especially when you say, we're only doing this, you know,
so we don't get
so we
in
don't
trouble.
get fined.
So
But we're telling you the other thing which we can't prove.
yeah, but we're still telling you it's organic.
Right.
is
Yeah,
as deceiving
deceptive.
as it would be if they had put organic on the bag and sold it at a market at a farmer's market. The same thing. The person that goes to the farmer's market sees a bag that says organic. You say, "Oh, dang, organic coffee," and it's only, I don't know how much. Well, we really need to find out. Maybe somebody could write in.
It's probably cheaper than what you buy regularly in the U.S., though.
I bet you their coffee's crazy priced. Somehow they're making enough money to buy some property in Vermont. That ain't cheap. And they're walking around air quoting, and both of them affirm. I mean, there's two absolutely distinct points that I'll just clip in here, where they say it's organic.
Organic on a bag and get in trouble. So this coffee, it's definitely not organic. I promise. Even though it kind of is.
No, it is. Fine.
Yes, but it is
It's
organic.
absolute, but it absolutely is.
But it absolutely, that's right, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But it absolutely is. Like, guys, like, grow up. I don't know. On the best side, grow the fuck up and get your head out of your ass. I don't know. That's my suggestion to them. If on the off
Her
chance,
ass.
yeah, Jordan, get your head out of her ass, right? Because you are the talking points for her. She's over there watching them like.
Good job. Like
Yeah, now remember the lines.
Jill and Joe.
Yeah. Remember the lines. Remember,
Did
you're going to
good,
take the
Joe.
fall.
You answered all the questions.
Yeah. And I know that you're going to take the fall if anything ever goes wrong. It won't be me. I'll Good boy. That's best case. And worst case is you two know perfectly well what you're doing. And you need to knock it off, because if you think.
Or they're
somehow-
willfully ignorant. They don't want to get the test and find out for sure. They just want to take Arturo 1 and Arturo 2's word for it.
They want to.
Yes.
Because it's financially in their interest to do
Right.
so.
Right. Right.
And I think that's really what it comes down to. That, and I would just like to make one comment about pinche gringos that come down to fucking Central and South America looking to fuck people over and then run back to America to make a big profit on what they've done while they were busy down here exploiting the innocents. Now, I don't think either one of those Arturos fits that category, but I think that it does speak volumes about the nomadic movement's real connection to real farmers. I don't think they do. They don't let their kid play with local kids. They don't have real everybody that comes into their videos is an English speaker, and they've even for another day, but they've even got this poor kid living on the property under the delusion that he owns his own house on their community property, and 5 years later or whatever it is, there's still no deed for the kid, and like he's invested his life savings and more into building this house for them, because they know perfectly well that he has no legal basis whatsoever. And so I just think that one of the most important things about when moving to a new culture is really having the humility to be able to respect that culture and respect the difference. And that if you see an opportunity to financially exploit someone,
Right.
because you've had a better education, because whatever reason, that's not the basis upon which you make that decision. You don't make the decision to screw somebody just because you've got the opportunity.
Because you can, yeah.
Because you can, right? Yeah. You have a sort of, I think, maybe I'm delusional, but I think you've got a sort of, especially when you're going around talking about how you're off grid and you're building community and how you're supposedly part of the change that's so desperately needed on this planet, that you're not going to just act like you don't know that there's an organic certification process in every country in South America, and then use that like you're in the coffee business for 5 years and you don't fucking know that there's an organic certification process in every country. Like, it's inconceivable. But they know that the majority of their viewers have no fucking idea whether there's an organic, because like anybody who is actually in a coffee business that would watch this and listen to these ding dongs talk about the USDA certification in Costa Rica, you sound like a moron. I mean, no one would think you were at all serious, right? Like you how could you be like that? How can you be so stupid? So, I mean, I don't know. I have a beef with people that come. We see it a lot in Ecuador, no?
It is true. A lot of people come down here and take advantage of the situation. There are some good gringos, though, who,
Yeah.
help out and,
Most. Right? Most.
actually most.
Yeah, I think most people.
But there are some, there's such a differential in income that, you really can, buy very low and sell very high and all that kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, the Ecuadorians don't think of things the same way that the gringos do. Like, for instance, if somebody comes down here and tries to flip a house, and especially without doing anything to it, just buys the house cheap and then sells it, high, they think that's an absolute evil crime,
Right.
And that's a common practice in the U.S. That's considered you're a good business person. But down here, that's considered taking advantage of that person that sold their house and you sold it for double the price. So
Yeah, without
are
adding value. Yeah,
things are different here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true. And I think that just is what typifies this video is like they were looking for cheap coffee. Somehow they got this connect to a couple of farms that definitely are not organic, and they agreed to get a premium on their not organic coffee in order to be in this video. And so they will, they obviously just did. I mean, I didn't believe either one of the Arturos.
I can't say that those farms are definitely not organic, but it's questionable whether they are or not.
Yeah, well, neither of them have certification.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
And
you can't say that it is if you don't know.
So, yeah. So what's we are...
Yes or no in the comments.
Shadow-Caste, we are all about solutions, right?
Yep.
So in this context, what is the solution to this? What is a solution to this sort of, like, let's imagine for a minute that the plight is real, right?
So what if there was a contingency of gringos who bonded together to go around and test organic farms on a regular basis?
Cool.
So that those people could get a lot more business from the gringos who are unsure whether that produce is organic or not. Those farms could benefit from that extra income.
And maybe not necessarily even all gringos, but just some
Anybody.
Cooperative, right? Some cooperative-based organization that...
And I would love to see more of them delivering it door to door. That farm, there's a name for it in the U.S.
Yeah, farm to table. But here, farm to cup, I guess.
But yeah, they deliver you a basket every week, and you know
like
it's
a
organic.
CSA.
And
Yeah,
CSA,
totally.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
I'd love to see more of that. I only know of one or two places I can do that here. So
yeah, and that's a great.
and it's a
great
good
way to
sized
support
city.
it.
It should be
And
common.
and I guess the other thing is you have to just sort of expect is that whenever you deal with monocropping, right, you are putting people in a situation where they are going to likely spray because they are monocropping meat. I mean, like if you don't
and
know,
you're depleting the soil of the certain nutrients that particular vegetable or crop
Waste.
needs. So yeah, you have to rotate, and you have to let the soil be fallow for a while, and you have to put in good organic,
Yeah, I think we gotta like it's all about taking care of the soil. It's all about soil, right? And we've got to.
And it's about putting in complete nutrients, not the 3 NPK, that evolved from big agribusiness, just nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus.
Yeah.
You can't just put 3 things in. It's the 3 things that make things be green or bloom, but it's not all the trace minerals and all the other minerals that that
You really need.
the
Yeah.
not only the plant needs to grow, but the fruit needs to be
That you need too, and that you
so that
need.
you get those nutrients. Yeah, and that's why a lot of people are
And
mineral
those are-
deficient.
but also that's what adds the subtlety, in my opinion, to the
Flavor
flavors.
as well. True.
And so, I think my solution is people should stop buying coffee from dickheads, right? and start buying it right from a farm. Just
Support your farmers. I mean, the farmers are going through so much these days, and they're trying to be like bought out, farmland being bought out,
right.
regulations so strict that they can't comply.
Farmers.
You know, I
man.
mean, if we lose
war
good
of a
organic
thousand
food
fronts.
brought to us by ethical people, if we lose that, we lose everything. We lose our health, we lose our freedom, we lose our sovereignty. I think you can summarize it with decentralization and everybody doing, their own thing and things in cooperatives and collectives.
Yeah, collective
and
capitalism.
local.
Right.
This whole big
Bioregional.
centralization of everything is not working.
So let's do it again. Decentralization, bioregional consumption, and collective capitalism.
Okay.
Cool.
All
right. Well,
thanks for watching.
that's our story, and we're sticking to it.
Okay. Bye-bye.